Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are on a Thursday morning, ready to rock and roll. Hope you guys are doing well. Um, I'm hanging in there. I did have my coffee, and now I'm ready to go as well. Let's see what we have in the chat. We got Gina coming in with a super sticker. All right. Well, thank you so much, Gina. I really appreciate that. Hope you're doing well. Um, Very cool to have you here. I know that sometimes the timing of our shows doesn't work well with all across the pond for you, but thank you for that. That's really, really cool. I appreciate it. I really, really do. Let's see. Let's see. Who else we got? Val, what's going on? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. We got Blucka in the chat. All right. Believer was a rough. Well, now, Blucka, you should know better. We're not going to have any spoilers. I know some people have seen Exorcist Believer. I have not yet, so we don't want any spoilers whatsoever. But I had a feeling you'd say it'd be a rough watch. Thank you, Val. I appreciate you reminding. Cody, what's up? Hope you're doing well. JJ saying, here we go. Jerry, what's up, Jerry? Good to see you. And we got Jack. What's up, Jack? Good to see you again, man. Hope you're doing well. All right. Polar, what's up? Good to see you. All right. All right. Well, hey guys. Your title kind of suggests, yeah, issues, but with no spoilers. Because I haven't even seen it yet, but issues that I see going into it. Here's let me explain something to you guys. And I know I can speak for quite a few other people. When we have a discussion, follow the host. If I say we're talking spoilers, then you can talk spoilers. But in general, just assume every single time there are absolutely no spoilers. And besides, we want to direct the conversation because we know that a lot of folks don't get a chance to even see movies on their opening weekend. That's why for Saw X, I haven't really talked about spoilers yet because I saw it opening weekend, but I know a lot of people don't always see opening weekend. So just in general, and I know that I've said that before, especially for my channel, but I'm pretty sure there are a lot of other content creators that feel the same way. All right. Jack, what's up? Coming in, $10 super chat, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, man. You're all right. It was good talking to you too, man. Seriously. So let's start this off. Let's do a little super chat clip. Much appreciated, man. This one's for you.
Live, 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 live. Like this. Swing your hips, baby. Swing your hips. Fire, 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 fire. Swing your hips.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Val, I know. Thanks so much, man. I appreciate you. All right, guys. So we got a couple things that I wanted to do this morning. Talk a little bit about thoughts for when I do see The Exorcist, which won't be until tomorrow. So, but some of the things that I've thought about coming into this, because for a lot of you guys, I'm sure you probably have guessed, but I'm a huge fan of the original and a really big fan of three. I have an interesting connection with two as well, but that's for another story. So that's a story for another day, I should say. So, I have a lot of connection, to these movies. And so for this next one that I'm going to be checking out tomorrow, just some thoughts that I had. So for you guys in the chat, definitely let me know what your thoughts are about the film with no spoilers. So if you've seen it, like Blucka, you've seen it, just hold off on spoilers, man. I mean, we're just talking about just some thoughts overall about the film going into it. And the reason why I want to do that is because we're into a situation where we've had a lot of legacy franchises lately that have, done their sequels. Some of them have been legacy sequels, some of them have been requels. When you talk about Halloween and obviously we just had Saw X, which in my opinion, without any spoilers, if you've seen my video on it, I thought was really, really inspired. I thought it was really good. They did something with it that It felt like a Saw movie, but it also gave you a fresh perspective of sorts. And a lot of that has to do with Tobin Bell. And again, that's not a spoiler, that was in the trailer. But I think that with me, anyways, Saw X was really kind of like, okay, that was really interesting that they could do what they did because with all of the movies, and I've seen all of those movies several times, it's probably the movie that stands out the most. And I think it's to a credit of the filmmakers as far as to go that direction. And it could have backfired on them, you know. But anyways, real quick, JJ, yes. Yes, Doctor Sleep was a great sequel. I think so too. I think it's severely underrated. Severely. No doubt about that. Bye-bye, Pooler. Do I need to watch all the movies before seeing the new one? No, you don't. And the reason for that is because they've had a real roller coaster up and down as far as what they've done with the stories, prequel, sequel, kind of a sequel, and so forth. So you don't. You don't. Let's see. Uh, and Jackson Saw X was a story-driven movie where it was less about the traps, more about the reason. Yes, yes, 10 out of 10 for story. I thought the story was really good. Really, really good. No doubt about that. Okay, so I just wanted to bring these up to talk about a little bit. So, first thing that I wanted to bring up, the first issue that I'm really concerned about. Let's just put it that way. These are more like concerns because, again, I have not seen it yet. But my first concern is the whole idea of identity crisis, what I'm calling identity crisis. And basically, what I'm saying um, is that, this film has to really walk a fine line, right? It has to be true to the original, but it has to really be something that's fresh because the franchise has had multiple sequels. Um, and man, I think it's a tough thing to do because of the nature of the movies. Whereas with something like Halloween, or Scream, you can kind of go into those stories and kind of follow certain through lines and you can still have a successful movie, or at least as far as the audience being satisfied, you can have a successful movie. With The Exorcist, it's so different because the first movie is a closed film, which is why it's had trouble ever since then. Even with 3, which I think is severely underrated and a very good movie, it's really had a lot of trouble. But that being said, I think the thing that 3 did really well is it did its own thing and it had a little bit of the through lines to the original. So that in and of itself might be a good path for this film. But I really hope that it has its own identity, but yet it still feels like an Exorcist film. I think that'll be one of the biggest challenges for this movie. I really, really do. I mean, you guys, let me know what you think, and especially for you guys that have not seen it yet. Let me know what your game plan is. Are you going to see it? Are you going to be checking out some of the different reviews on it, stuff that you hear from the community and stuff like that? Let me know. Let me know. Now, let me just catch up to the chat a little bit here too. Let's see. Jackson, did you like when Chris Rock showed up mid credits to really working a psychic? The spiritual was actually truly about him catching a copycat of his mentor. What? What? I didn't see it. What? Jack, you'll have to write that up again, man. I'm like, what? Blanca saying under contract for us to release the full trilogy regardless. Okay. All right. Yeah, they spent a lot of money for it. That's just how it is. That's just how it is. We'll see how it all goes to plan, or if it doesn't go to plan. And definitely, if you haven't hit the like button, please do. It really helps to support the channel, and I'd appreciate it. So yeah, so that's the first thing that I really am curious about to see how this film does. That's the first issue, possible pitfall, I should say, you know. And who knows? I think that with a movie of this caliber, you really have to wonder how much planning took place, and I've seen a couple of different interviews and so forth, David Gordon Green talking about how his approach with Halloween was a certain way, and then of course his approach with The Exorcist is a certain way. So I will say, if nothing else, there seems to be a really, really good point of view. Now, whether or not that translates into the film, as you guys know, when they're working on movies, they go through a lot of different processes, a lot of people that give their input, studios, involvement, all that type of stuff. So you never know if what they set out to do is what's actually going to happen. But again, I think that with the idea of it being a sequel to The Exorcist, there's a lot of possibility for potholes. Hopefully not. I'm really hopefully there isn't. But my big thing is I want the movie to have its own identity, but yet feel like an Exorcist movie. And again, with these films, it's tough because this whole subgenre has been totally littered with films over the years. Most of them not being that great. Every once in a while, you'll have one that's really, really good. Something along the lines of like the Exorcism of Emily Rose. I think that was a really, really good one. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting to see what the identity of this film will be. Now, the next one, another issue, possible issue, is, and I'm calling it True Grit. I think that with the original film, it had a really, really gritty feel to it. In other words, it felt like something that you were hearing about, in real life. And of course, it's based on actual events, but the movie is just so gritty, so real. The documentary style, William Freakin, such a great visionary, and of course, rest in peace. But this film, I'm hoping that it somehow tries to have a little of that. I don't want it to be super polished. That's actually when we talk about possible pitfalls, that's actually one thing that I'm really worried about is I don't want it to be a super polished film. I'm a little bit concerned that it might be. What I mean by polished is, just how it's presented in the trailer, or I should say in the trailers. If you've watched the trailers, you kind of get a sense that they want to try to have a little bit of that grittiness that the original had, but I'm not sure if that'll be something that's throughout the film. I guess time will tell. We'll see. We'll see. Real quick too, Val saying, I'm seeing it tomorrow night, not looking at any reviews, as what I like as far as a movie goes tends to be quite different than most. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, listen, guys, I mean, you guys know how the internet is. There's going to be spoilers all over the place. I'm not going to be doing too much after this other than Halloween Fest tonight at 8 p.m. Central. But unfortunately, that's just how the internet is. People, and we see it in comments and in live streams and stuff like that. People always want to give spoilers away and stuff like that. It's unfortunate, to be quite honest, but that's just how it is. So yeah, Val, yeah, don't look at any reviews. Kind of keep an open mind, and I'll be curious to see what you think. Yeah. Jerry saying, I want to see it for my own opinion on it, form my own opinion on it. Everyone likes different things. You may love it while I dislike it. It's very true. It's very true. No doubt about that. Melissa, what's going on? Good to see you. All right. Hope you're doing good. Jack saying, let's not forget they released two prequels. Yes. Yes. And that was a really weird situation. Like, I remember when that happened, and I was just like, what are they doing? And both of them, I don't even remember them that well, to be quite honest with you. They weren't very good. And I think each one of them had something that, one did a little bit better than the other and vice versa. So it was almost like they canceled each other out, if that makes any sense at all. But yeah, that was really weird. Put it this way, guys, and I've said this in videos and live streams, I have a feeling that this film will not do that. It may not be great, but I definitely think it's going to be something a bit better than what we saw with what was it called? The Exorcist, the beginning, or something like that. I can't remember. But anyways, um, those films were very forgetful, very forgetful. Ralph, what's going on? Good to see you. The Exorcist 3 was really good, totally creepy. Brad Dourif put on one hell of a performance. It's true. I think Exorcist 3 was fantastic. It really was. It's severely underrated. It kind of got lost in the shuffle. And I think even when it was released, it was one of those movies that it just didn't like click, with people for whatever reason. Probably because of the bad reception of Exorcist 2, I would assume. And plus, I think that, and I don't remember exactly how it was marketed, but I definitely think people were wondering, well, what else are you going to do with this story? You didn't have that possession angle per se that was right in front of you. So, but it's a great movie, guys. It really, really is. I don't remember the prequels. No one does. Uh, oh man. Nobody does. Oh man. Yes. Um Blucka saying, I wish they did that a trilogy with the girls on a farm and the cult. You might have to write that again, Blucka. Oh, Last Exorcist. Yes, yes, that was okay. Yeah, I remember that one. I remember that one. That actually was actually pretty good from what I remember. I haven't seen it in a long time, but yeah, yeah, absolutely. Not a bad one at all. So again, with the whole idea of the grittiness, I'm hoping I'm hoping that it has that element, that it feels like something that is very relatable. I guess down to earth is a way to put it because the original really had that. And even The Exorcist 3 had that. Now, part of that is because, and that's without giving any spoilers if you haven't seen The Exorcist 3, but you should. With The Exorcist 3, it was you were following um, this mystery of sorts, with a detective trying to figure out, what's going on with a serial killer and the connection that it had to the events of the original movie and so forth. So it did have that grittiness, that true grit feel. And I think it was really, really cool. Now, my next issue that I wanted to talk about, the third, and this one, I think that this one is, well, everyone's different, right? But for me, basic terror in the film, right? Now, as exorcism films have gone on, possession films, you do get a lot of them that have, the cheap jump scares and all that type of stuff. And it is what it is. The Exorcist didn't have that. Okay. And granted, it came out at a time when just the story itself was so groundbreaking. And you got to remember too, the world that it that saw it, there was a lot of strong faith and all of that went into play as well. So everything that The Exorcist was went against the grain with that too. So for this film, it has a really, really huge mountain to climb because you have to satisfy multiple audiences, right? You have to satisfy the audiences that are fans of the original. And it really doesn't matter what their age is. Obviously, a lot of them skew older. So you've got to satisfy them with a movie that has terror in it with that's justified, right? But you also have the modern audience that does want that quicker pace, that faster pace, those things that are going to make them, jump and so forth. It's going to be a tricky balance to have, I think. But we have seen films that can do it. We've seen films that can do it, whether you're talking about, you know, some of the A24 films, you have some of the IFC Midnight films that do it really well, where there's this terror that's right underneath the surface and it's very relatable and it's creepy and you've got atmosphere. Those are the types of things that I think would make this film work, but more importantly, make it last, right? You want this film, if it's going to be something that's successful, you want this film to last. You want people to be talking about it. You want it to kind of stick with people. I've seen some films, and when I watch them, I'm still kind of creeped out about them, you know, an hour later, a day later, or maybe I'm thinking about what I just saw. And that tells me that the horror in it or the terror in it was really, really good. And so that's what I'm hoping that we can get with this film. That would be really, really cool. Now, whether we do or whether we don't, that remains to be seen. But for you guys, tell me how you feel about it. Some people use the term slow burn. I've used that term, and I think that there's validity to it, but I also think sometimes people can kind of confuse it. You guys let me know what you're hoping for as far as the scares in the film. I think that that's a really interesting viewpoint because some people do love jump scares, and the quicker pace, and some people they appreciate the slower paces. So, and let's see, I'm going to catch up to you guys in here. Um, JJ saying, I thought the prequel Exorcist films were pretty good. In my opinion, they were two versions. They definitely were two versions. Have you seen them recently? JJ, let me know if you've seen them recently. I haven't seen them in years, but that would be interesting to get a sense of that. Let's see. Val saying, my biggest hope for this movie is that it scares the shit out of me. I haven't seen a movie that lately that really has done that. That would be good. That would be good. Yep. Um, saying I'm excited. Cody saying I'm excited for this movie. That's good. That's really good. Val saying I like the slow burn, building on the story, draw me in while scaring the shit out of me. Absolutely. Yeah, I think that those movies, for me personally, they stick with me a lot longer. And that's just how I look at it. But the fourth thing I wanted to talk about is the heartbeat of the film. And I think that this to me might be an area where they should be able to be fairly successful. And basically what I'm talking about is the characters. Do the characters actually, make you feel any type of emotional attachment to them? And with the first film, because of the structure of the first film, you really could get attached, whether it's to Reagan or to Father Karras, and obviously even Marin to some point, because you saw, these people in their daily lives and their struggles, and that's what made the finale, the third act, hit so hard, and even before that, you know, when Father Karras is dealing with, his mother, her illness and her death and so forth. And so I think that this film, if nothing else, they should be able to provide some type of way for us to get connected to the characters. I think that's one of the easier things that they, could achieve. And if they can do that, well, then that will help the overall film. And especially when we get to the big stuff, when we get to the whole idea of the tragedies that are going on and so forth. So this is definitely one of those areas. If they fail at this, then to me, everything falls apart. And that's true of any horror film. But of course, we know there are a lot of horror films that don't necessarily have to give you these deep characters that you get connected to. There are a lot of horror films where they basically have, the stereotypical person or persons, and you're actually waiting for them to go through the tragedy or to get killed or to be stalked or whatever. So I think that this is one of those areas where I'm really, really hoping that they can do a somewhat decent job at these characters. You would think, here's the thing, and for you guys, you let me know in the comments. You would think that they would be able to. They have some really, really good character actors in this movie. So, and obviously, with the young ladies, that's going to be a whole different story. When you have young actors or actresses and you have a film that's kind of centered on them, that's always a really slippery slope. We were talking last night on Halloween Fest 2. We watched Halloween 4, And, that movie, as an example, that movie had a lot of weight on a young Danielle Harris. And I think by all accounts, she did a really good job. She really did. She had great chemistry with the other actors. She had great chemistry with Ellie Cornell. So it made the movie work. If she didn't work as a character, then the movie would have really, really had issues and struggled, because in a movie like that, Michael, although he's the icon, it's not like the movie has him all the time. He comes in, he comes out, he's doing things, but it's really the characters that you're following. So, but you guys let me know what you think. Do you think that this film will do a good job with the characters as far as the connection that people get? That's the thing that I think they could really do well. I think they could really do well with it. So, JJ saying not recently. When I saw them was when renting DVDs from Netflix. Ooh, yeah, that was a long time ago. Gosh, I can't remember the last time I rented DVDs from Netflix. Oh man. Blucka saying I'm all possessed out going into the seven possession films this year. Not that it impacted my. Wow, seven possession films. Blucka, do you watch films all the time? You've watched seven of them this year? Good God. You probably should slow down, man. That's one thing about possession films too, though. For me, although it's a subgenre that I like, I don't watch a lot of them, or at least not, in a row, rapid fire. And part of that is because of the fact that it's really a tough subgenre because you have a narrow lane. So I try not to watch a lot of them. I'm much more picky, but it's a tough subgenre to really be effective at. Yeah. I just hope they don't send those 2 poor girls to hell. That's my only fear of this movie, to be honest. Yeah. Yep. Val saying, I'm invested in the families already, 2 completely different families and their beliefs. Will be interesting to see if they can come together to save the girls. Yeah, I think that's gonna be a big part of the movie is how, these 2 different families come together and deal with this situation that's, obviously otherworldly. I will say the second trailer, and if you guys didn't see it, and I talked about it, I think the second trailer did a really good job to kind of give you a little bit more investment in them. Some of the scenes that they showed and stuff like that. So yeah, I agree with that, Val. I agree with that. I'm really curious to see what's going to happen. Let's see. Dan, what's going on? What's up, guys? Just on my break. I was just about to say, stop it. You're retired. Hope you're doing well, man. Oh, but yeah, the second trailer really it got me a lot more invested in the families. So I think it's going to be a strong point of the film. I really do, and it has to be, right? It has to be. Now, my fifth thing I wanted to talk about, Trailblazer, it's piggybacking off of a little bit of the whole idea of identity. But here's my thing. You're doing this movie, you're looking to make it a trilogy. So to me, one of the big things is what can we do that is going to be newer, more fresh, right? That's the thing that I'm really curious about. And with the possession films, the exorcism films that I've seen over all these years since I was a kid, every once in a while you do get that movie that has, something that is a bit new that they bring to the table. And it could be anything, whether it's, how the character is dealing with the possession or their family or how it happened. There was some references to that in the live chat, or the portrayal of the character that's afflicted. When I think about the exorcism of Emily Rose, I think it was really, really smart the way you really had that kind of that POV of her struggling with it. And man, some of those scenes where she was contorting her body and all those different types of things. That was really, really cool. So with this film, it's going to be interesting to see what they do that's new, that's fresh. It's really difficult to do. So I'm going to be really curious this because they have to do that. They really have to do that, or else you're just spinning your wheels. In my mind, if you're going to try to resurrect a legacy franchise, and especially as far as the original film, anyways, one of the most revered films in horror. When you think about horror films and you think about the top of the top, The Exorcist is usually in that conversation at least. And for those who aren't fans of it, or maybe they hadn't seen it, they know of it, right? So that's a huge mountain to climb. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do that brings a new angle of freshness to it. That's my big thing. That is my big thing. What are they going to do? Dan saying the second trailer was pretty good. Full Thanksgiving trailer showed a little too much. Of course, that's the problem with trailers. That's, yeah, that's the problem with trailers. Sometimes they just show way too much. And I think we've talked about this so many times. And I don't understand why studios allow this to happen. You give away too much, you know? And for us that are really diehard horror fans, not only do we watch the trailers, but we really pay attention, you know? But we've seen that in different movies where they're literally giving away the identity of the killer. They're giving away the identity of, or which characters are going to die and even how they're going to die. Is like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Like back, years and years and years ago, a trailer would be there would be times when they would do trailers where it has nothing to do with the actual scenes in the film. I actually love those trailers. It doesn't give you a lot to spoil. Those are really, really good. Yes. Hold on now, I'm gonna catch up to you. I know I'm way behind here, guys. um Val saying night, I love the Conjuring universe. So I'm excited to see if this movie can give them a run for their money for me. Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. I think that, when you look at especially the first Conjuring film, which I talked about, actually, it was just a couple weeks ago, I did more of a deep dive review on it. Um, I think that what was smart about the Conjuring is you got the whole idea of the possession and eventually the exorcism, but it was hidden, right? Because the big part of it was the idea of a ghost, you know, and a creepy house and a family. And you had these little children that were dealing with it. And so all of a sudden you get to that third act and it flips, and actually you kind of have this combination. You had this interwoven story, which was really, really cool. And of course, James Wan is the type of director that can do that. That's a very tricky thing to do. And when I first saw The Conjuring, when we got to that part, I was thinking to myself, holy shit, now we're doing this has become an exorcism film. And it was pretty good at it. Now that wasn't the biggest part of the film, but I agree. It would be interesting to see if this film can give movies like The Conjuring or films in the Conjuring universe a run for their money. You would think that that would be something that they are hoping that it will do, right? Because obviously we're talking about Blumhouse, right? So, all right. Um, Blucka saying the demon stuck a key into the person and locked them. Was that Insidious 3? I believe that was Insidious 4 4. Well, no, I think that was 4. I can't remember exactly, but I think it could have been 3 or 4. It wasn't 1 or 2, and it wasn't the red door. I know that. Yeah. Yep. Jerry, thank you so much for reminding people to hit the like button. It would help out. Yes. We got Danielle in the chat. What's going on? Good to see. Hope you're doing well. All right. Cody saying heading out. Have a good stream and good day. See ya, chat. Have a good day. We appreciate you being here, man. Thank you so much. All right. Did I miss Scream 7 news? No, we haven't even gotten to Scream yet. we were just talking about The Exorcist and a couple things that I think could be possible issues and hopefully things that as filmmakers they're thinking about, especially when you're having a sequel to a legacy movie like The Exorcist. And of course, The Exorcist as a franchise has, I mean, it's been a roller coaster. You know, if these movies can be decent or even good, that's a huge win for the franchise. A huge win because they've had some really, really dark times with these films. I'm not saying that all of them are bad after the original because three was really good. Um, but the prequels, and that was kind of just it was just so confusing, man. It really, really was. Yeah. JJ saying, yeah, Stellan Skarsgård was great. Um, I just didn't it just didn't stick with me though. I've got to rewatch it. I've got to rewatch it. Thanks, Jack. I appreciate that, man. Much appreciated. All right. The key and lock possession idea was very interesting, but sadly, the movie it was forgettable overall. I have some thoughts on Insidious. We haven't really talked a lot about it, but there were some ups and downs in the franchise. Definitely, the first two movies were really, really strong, but I did enjoy the fourth. I believe it was the fourth. And I think a lot of that is attributed to Lin Shay, who I'm a huge fan of. Huge fan, no doubt about that. And let's see, we got Jerry gifting a membership. All right. Very, very cool. Thank you so much, Jerry. I appreciate that. It looks like it went to Darth. Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate that. It really helps out the channel. And, for you guys that come to the chats and enjoy the content and are here on a regular basis, it really is a nice thing. We appreciate it, man. Let's do this for you guys, especially that are Patreon and channel members. I like to make sure we give you guys a spotlight and a thank you. So let's do this real quick. And thank you guys so much. And welcome to Darth. You are now listening to the voice of horror.
Lock your doors, bolt your windows, and turn off the lights. Make sure the kids are safe at home, cause you're headed to the night watch zone.
All right. Cool. Very, very cool. I appreciate you guys so much. Seriously, it really helps out the channel. All right. Thanks, Jerry. Seriously, that was really, really cool. And when you guys do those types of things, it's just amazing. It really shows how kind you guys are. And for some folks that aren't able to do things like memberships and so forth, I'm sure it means a lot to them. It's always nice when you can win something or get something, right? But thanks, man. Seriously, I appreciate you. Polar saying, kind of feel like the newest one lacked a story. Are you talking about the Red Door? If you are, I will say to you that, yeah, I think that the newest one, they tried to do something interesting as far as the dynamic in the family and all the repercussions from the first two films. But I don't know, and I haven't talked about it too much. I think part of it was because I was just really disappointed with the film. I think there were some good things in it. I think there was some good moments from the actors. I think the actors were good in it, but I just think that the story it didn't connect with me. And that might be because of the fact, and I was just talking about this for the new Exorcist film, you have to be invested in the characters. And a lot of times it's because of that connection that the characters have with each other. They're a family. there's a bond there, and maybe they're struggling with something, but they're connected with each other. In this film, they were so disconnected. Um, because, and this isn't a spoiler, this was in the trailers for Insidious 5, or Insidious the Red Door. You have, Josh is dealing with what he did from the first two films. He's divorced, and his son is going to college, and him and his son don't really have a great relationship anymore. So it's kind of like you're just kind of out in limbo. I think that was one of the biggest disappointments for me, if I was to be honest. So I still have to watch it again. I've only seen it once, but yeah. Danielle saying toxic fandoms need to take a back seat sometimes as well. Some movies are shitted on even before they are released. It's true. And, these films, well, actually, a lot of films that we discuss on the channel, they go through that, and it's weird because if a film is really popular, it seems like there's this part of the fandom that wants to take it down a notch for whatever reason. And it's really interesting. I've heard a lot of people say, even when The Exorcist was announced, this is going to be the worst film ever. There's no way that it's going to be decent. They're referencing David Gordon Green because of the Halloween trilogy, and saying that he destroyed Halloween. Of course, we know that's not true, because Halloween has lived through a lot of bad times. If anything, the Halloween franchise is more popular than it's ever been, and I can definitely see that as being someone that's been a fan of the franchise since I was a little kid. So it's weird. It really is weird, and unfortunately, you see that even on YouTube, on social media, whether it's Instagram or Twitter or whatever. There are a lot of toxic fandoms. I don't get it, personally speaking, but what are you going to do? All you can do is go into movies with your own mindset, hopefully being an open mind. So um oh, Polar, that's sweet. Please consider joining Patreon or become a channel member. You won't regret it. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. You're very, very sweet. Polar saying, I'm not disappointed overall though, because I was happy to see them back. That was the good part of it. And that was the good part of it, is to kind of see them all back. And of course, it was almost like a reunion of sorts. I just wish that the story had, I don't know, just a little bit of a different vibe to it. It was a very somber type of plot, which isn't necessarily bad. And there are a lot of horror films that do it, and there are a lot of horror films that do it well. And I suppose that maybe it's because I was so used to how they were in Insidious 1 and Insidious 2. So when I saw this film, I was kind of like, well, wait a minute, this isn't doesn't feel right, you know? So, but yeah, I mean, it wasn't a bad movie. I think that just my connection to the franchise kind of had my perception skewed a bit, you know? I'm beyond excited for what's next with Talk to Me. That movie was wild and I ate it up. It was a very good movie. I've talked about it, and I'm really excited to see what they do with the sequel. I think that, all the creatives involved have a fresh perspective for horror, which you could see in the movie. It was very, very interesting. When I saw it in the theater, there were a lot of audience members that were really invested, and yeah, it was a very good film. Very, very cool. And that's a good example, actually, Polar, because Talk to Me took something that was very well worn as far as quote unquote, possession films, um, you know, for the most part. But they took that and had a little bit of a spin on it, something that made it feel a little bit different. And I think that that's the recipe. That's the recipe you want for some of these subgenres. So hopefully The Exorcist will be able to do that. I hope so. I really, really do. Danielle saying, what we can do is stick with YouTubers like Night that have a more positive vibe than those that depend on rage clickers. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm just the type of person, there's movies that I don't like, and I'm definitely gonna let you guys know if I don't like it, but I'm not gonna sit there and just kind of just keep beating a dead horse. because number one, I just I don't find that worth a damn, right? But there are folks on social media that are, more on the negative side of things, and that's how they, relate to their audience or whoever. It is what it is. But I'm the type of person. Look, I've loved movies since I was like six years old, and I've been a horror fan, since I was a kid as well. So I've seen a lot of films, a lot, and I've seen films that aren't great, and I've seen films that are really bad. And the point I'm trying to make is, when movies come out based upon your experience, and sometimes if it's a film that's kind of in your wheelhouse, right? You already have your perceptions that are shaping, what you're going to think of the film. I try to go into movies just open-minded as much as I can. Sure, I'm going to go and watch a movie or at home watch a movie that kind of has some type of appeal to me. But once it starts, I'm just like, "Whoo, I'm just going to watch it." Just like I said with Insidious. I went into Insidious as a fan of the franchise, but I understood that, hey, we got to see how this is going to go. Patrick Wilson being a first time director, I didn't know how well that was going to go. I think he did a pretty good job, as a first time director, and he took a lot of cues from other people, which was smart of him to get, a little bit of mentoring and stuff like that. But ultimately, I wasn't a big fan of it. Just it is what it is. Same thing on the other side of the field. I go to see Saw X, huge fan of those movies. It's a legacy sequel as well. It was, a little risky, but I came out of that enjoying the hell out of it. So, that's how I roll. I just go in, see what I think, and it is what it is. And then I move on to the next thing. So, the real question is this: did we really need another Exorcist movie? Jack, absolutely good question, and the answer is no. We did not. We did not need another movie after the first one. There's no doubt about it. But and there's this really cool, well, I'll just tease this. When you think about the Exorcist franchise, there's a lot of cool behind the scenes stories and personal accounts and so forth. But just like, and you guys can figure out some of these things anyways. When you have a movie that does so well, studios they hop on it like white on rice. They want to continue that success. The movie has that name that connects with people and so forth. So there was no doubt that they were going to try to go down that well again in this franchise alone. And then, of course, the countless movies that cropped up after it and still are today. So, yeah, there was no doubt that there was going to be more, but we definitely didn't need another one. But I will say, and we've talked about this recently too, when we talk about legacy franchises and legacy sequels, the good news is that every once in a while you do get that movie that is really, really good. And it sometimes it takes big chances and it wins, right? Sometimes it takes big chances and it doesn't. But looking at something like The Exorcist 3, oh man, I'm glad that it was made. It was really, really good. Saw X. Who would have thought the 10th movie in a 20-year-old franchise would have been that good? There's no way that makes sense on paper, but it did for me anyways. And there are a lot of people. It's got a really great critic score. Most everyone that I've heard is like giving it super high praise. So, um, you can have situations like that happen, which is really cool. So, yeah. Um, we just want we just want them. That's true. We don't really need any movie. Yeah. Yep. Um, let's see. Most here actually respect that if we don't like a movie, that others will, as they should be able to. Absolutely. Yeah. Jamie, what's going on? Good to see you. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. Let's see. And I know that I gotta catch up to you guys. Polar saying, I am happy for those who liked it. Don't want to ever push my negative views on someone who appreciates it. Are we? Oh, hold on. Let me just back up. Okay, the only franchise I unfortunately will have a skeptical attitude going in from here on will be The Nun, only because it hasn't delivered to me personally. Okay. All right. Now, did you see The Nun 2? I'm not sure if you have or not. I'm curious. Let me know what you think about The Nun 2. Let's see. Let's see. We got Ty who jumped into the chat. What's going on? Good to see you. Is it bad that I'd rather watch Hocus Pocus in theaters tomorrow instead of The Exorcist? It's not bad, you know. People have, they've got their things that they like. I think that's basically what we're talking about, you know. Danielle saying every movie since day one has been influenced by social political BS of the time. It's true in one way or the other. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, so you did see The Nun 2. They didn't win me over still. Oh, well, that's too bad. It's funny because I didn't hate the first one. I didn't hate the first one. And I know a lot of people had issues with it. Now that could be partly because it was a situation where I was visiting my brother, we were hanging out, and then we were like, well, let's check it out together because we had heard that there was a lot of people that weren't big on the film. So we watched it and we kind of look at each other at the end of it. We're like, wasn't that wasn't horrible. And I don't know if it was because we were watching it together, we're hanging out, we got, pizza, we got snacks and all that type of stuff. But anyways, I do know why people didn't like it, and I can understand that. Um, for me, part of it too was, when you're talking about being in a location that's like, this creepy um, monastery type of setting or whatever. I dig that type of stuff. I eat that type of stuff up all the time. So that might have been part of why I didn't hate it. The second film, I think they were smart to make it something that was a bit of a bigger scale, little bit of a mystery going on. Although I don't think they really followed through with that plot thread as well as they could have or should have. Um, but I didn't think it was bad. I think it did better on a lot of accounts versus the first film. So, but I get it. I get it. Some folks, they just feel a certain way, and that's okay. It's all right. A team is in the chat. What's going on? Saying it's not about what we need. New films are for new generations. Yes, that's exactly what I've been saying. I love that 1984 Dune, but younger people were introduced to the story with the new films. Yay for them. Yeah, I mean it's true. It's very true. You know, the 84 Dune has a totally different feel. Of course, there's a lot of there's a lot of conversation on that. I actually am a fan of it. And of course, especially when you got something like Dune that also is an adaptation from a novel, from a book, and especially a revered book, that brings in a whole new angle of opinion, and it just makes it a lot more complex. But I've said that many times before. When you have new movies, whether it's, the new Halloween trilogy, or whether you have, Scream 5 and 6, and obviously we're going into 7, these films aren't for the fans of the OG. These are for newer fans. And of course, they're going to make connections to the original films or to the popular films because they want to have that multi-layered audience. That's what makes the movie work. They can't just rely on fans of the films that were 20 or 30 years ago. So yeah, it's for the younger people, which is a good thing, man. I want younger people to be introduced to horror like I was when I was a kid. We need that. That's what keeps horror going. It keeps it alive. So let's see. I switched away from all that and jumping back on Knight's train ride. That sounded bad. What? What? That did. That did. Oh man. All right. You got me with that one. As a fan of the Wheel of Time books, I can't stand the show, but I leave that as it is since I can't do anything about it. Good point. A good point. Especially when you're talking about books. No doubt about it. No doubt at all. So, real quick, guys, I wanted to do something We haven't done this in a while, and I know some of the folks that have been around for a while really enjoyed this when we would do it. Um, but we're gonna do just for fun. Is basically a game, a scenario game. I'm gonna have a scenario that I'm going to have you guys be a part of, and just having you describe what you would do in that situation. And when we've done this in the past, we haven't done this for probably a couple months, but um it used to be one of those things that people had so much fun with, and some of the answers that they came up with were absolutely it's just crazy, fun, crazy, funny, all that type of stuff. So let's see what you guys come up with these scenarios. We'll just do a couple, and then we'll see where we go from there. So let me just set the mood here a little bit. We got to have some of the background music going on and stuff like that. But hopefully, you guys will enjoy this. As I had so many people that have told me, "Hey, we got to do that again. We got to do that again." Stuff like trivia and the scenario game and all those types of things. So let's do it. Okay, the first scenario that we have, and again, all I'm having you guys do is just give me your concept of how you would handle this. Okay. All right. So first scenario, we'll put this up on the screen. Okay. Scenario number one, especially for you guys, I know some folks are listening rather than watching, so I'll read the scenarios twice. Scenario number one, your town is enveloped in unexplained darkness for weeks. No one can travel into or out of the town. Weird and creepy things happen to your neighbors. What do you do in this situation? Okay. So I'm going to read that again and have you guys give me your idea of how you would handle it. Okay. So the scenario is your town is enveloped in unexplained darkness for weeks. No one can travel into or out of the town. Weird and creepy things happen to your neighbors. What do you do in this situation? Okay. So let's see. We'll give you guys about a minute and just see what you guys come up with. This is always kind of interesting to see what people do. Danielle, sleeping meds. Ain't staying awake for whatever's next. You can't sleep for weeks. No cheating answers. So the other thing about these scenarios, so sometimes I do have to explain them a little bit more. Okay, so you can't sleep through it. So Danielle, come back with something else. You got to come back with something else. It'd be great if you could, but yeah, you can't sleep through it. Ty saying grab the heater and stock up on supplies. Okay, so now how are you gonna stock up on the supplies? So give me an idea of how you're going to do it, Ty. So I know some of you guys haven't done this particular game, but try to think it through. And that'll make the answers a lot more interesting. But I get it. You want to stock up supplies and wait it out. Interesting. Melissa, have a party. Okay, all right. Jack saying it would make a great script, so I'd want to see every detail. Oh, and there you go. All right. Jamie saying, I walk softly and carry a mini bat. Those who mess with me or my crew get the bat smack. I will lead you to the light. Jamie. All right. Danielle's in, damn it, fine, I'm starting a gang and start ranting about evil dying tonight as we loot Walmart. Okay, all right. Where are you gonna get the gang? Give me that one too. Where are you gonna get the gang? But I get it. You gotta go to Walmart. Good choice though. Walmart has everything. Okay, Ty saying, I live very close to stores within walking distance. Okay, all right. But what if you didn't live very close to stores? So in this scenario, so here's the other thing too. So in this scenario, okay, so your town is in unexplained darkness for weeks, and your town is not populated with a lot of stores nearby. So let's go from there. Let's go from there. I'm looting Walmart with Danielle. There you go. There you go. Sunrise, what's going on? All right, good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. We got Gina in the chat. What's going on? Ty said maybe set up booby traps around my apartment. Just remember my traps so I don't get myself. Yeah, right? Exactly. Because you're gonna have to deal with it for weeks. Polar saying, with my luck, it happened during Q4 and just work. Right. I love that. You guys are too funny. Walmart in Philly, it might be empty. That's true, man. That's true. Yeah, we all obviously live in the apartment complex across from the super Walmart, so we're going to be fine for a couple months. Right? The A-team saying lockdown and booby trap the house. Rotate peeking outside. I ain't no killer, but don't push me. Aha, well, there you go. All right. That's funny. That was a good one. I like that. You might win this one, A-team. You might win this one. Ty saying like The Mist. That's a good parallel, you know. But the Mist took place. What was it? Just wasn't it like a couple of nights? It's a great film, by the way. Really underrated. But yeah, it's similar to that in the sense that your town is, you know, it's a town that's dealing with this darkness, and nobody knows why. But you can't travel outside of the town. No one can come in. And then you have these weird and creepy things that are going on with your neighbors around you, you know? So it's like, well, what do? You know, do you just hole up in your house, you know, raid a store, get some supplies? Do you investigate, you know, what's going on with your neighbors? Like some of you guys said you're going to get a group together and so forth. Well, how do you do that? What do you do? Where do you go? Which neighbor would you choose to go to? That type of thing. Electing myself mayor of Slasher Town and deputizing the Night Watch crew. Okay. All right. It's going to be like the mall scene in Night of the Comet. That was a great scene. I love that scene. Yes. What's up, Foreign Horrors in the chat? What's going on? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well, man. Hope you're doing well. A-team saying, wait, do the phones and or internet work? Now, see, that's what I'm talking about. So thinking about it like that. Okay, so here's the thing. No, they do not. Phones and internet do not work. They do not. So how does that change what you do? I would assume it would change things quite a bit. The Mist scares the Pazuzu out of me. That crazy religious lady is terrifying. She was an awesome character. Oh my gosh. She was such a great character. I love that movie. It's a great movie. What's up, Eric's in the chat. Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. I have to admit, after the recent Battle World episodes, I've come to respect David Gordon Green behind the camera a bit more, so I'm at least a bit more interested in Exorcist Believer. There you go. It happened. That's right. Eric is on the Michael Myers train. Love it. No, I mean, and I think, and first of all, we had a really fun show, I should say, on Tuesday night, right down to the wire again, 3 weeks in a row. It's been crazy. But I do think he has talent. I do. That's not to say that all the choices that were made in the trilogy were great. Some of them were risks. Some of them were risks that he wanted to take. And sometimes when you take a risk, it can work. Sometimes it doesn't work. But I do think there was some really good stuff in those 3 movies. So I'm glad that it gave you a little bit of a different perspective on them, man. That's cool. That's really cool. Let's see. During the binging of Jericho's show marathon, I'd sneak away and kill every Karen's dog in the neighborhood. Wow. All right. Guys. That sounded scary is in the chat. What's going on? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, man. I think, look, becoming more appreciative of them, I think that's a pretty cool thing, because I know how you look at the trilogy, although you do enjoy kills. So, but yeah, there was some good stuff in it. Again, when we're talking about legacy sequels, and like I said earlier about The Exorcist, it's a challenging thing, man. Especially if it's a very popular franchise with a lot of concrete things that the fan base will expect. And that's not just in horror, that's in any genre. It's a very difficult task because you have to do things that they are familiar with, but you also need to do some things that are fresh. So for any of these directors that come into these franchises, I can only imagine, the type of stress that's on their shoulders. Yeah, that's good, man. I'm doing good too. Yeah. All right. All right, guys. Well, with this scenario, it seems like we've got some people that are just going to try to team up together and loot stores. It might work. It might. Although I didn't get that answer where I was thinking I would get. I wasn't getting that answer, but that's okay though. That's what's fun about these scenarios, to see how people come up with an answer. Jonathan in the house saying, what's up, everyone? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. And by the way, if you haven't yet, please hit the like button. It helps to support the channel and this stream. And yeah, I'd appreciate it. It really would help us out. And Jamie or Val is still in the chat. If you guys can give us, a little bit of an idea how the likes are going, that would be great. That would be really, really cool. Eric saying kills was a lot of fun. Can't deny it. Plus Michael showing that Tommy Doyle was all talk was perfect. That's right, man. It's a lot of great stuff in Halloween Kills. I really do. I mean, Michael is about as badass as he's ever been, and the practical work is just chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. Jack's heading out saying, I gotta run. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, man, for hanging out. I appreciate it. Hope you're doing good. And have a good day too, man. I'll be talking to you soon. Polar saying, I definitely get with my brother who's a doomsday prepper. There we go. Okay. Now that is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. I like that. Danielle saying, what answer were you looking for? Well, I can't tell you that. No, what I mean is just how you would deal with it, right? How you would deal with it. So like, for instance, like you said, you would get a gang together. So how would you do it, right? How would you do it? Would you go to one of your neighbors' houses to do it? You don't have phone and you don't have the internet, right? So that would be, that would be the start of an answer I was thinking about. to be interesting. Sometimes for some of these answers that we get on these scenarios, they are really, really good and detailed. So, but that's the fun of it, to see what people come up with on the fly, right? Right here when it's presented to them. All right, we got 22 likes. Cool. Jonathan, I have not seen the new Exorcist film yet. I will be seeing it tomorrow. We did talk about, if you get a chance to check out the replay, we talked about 5, or at least I should say I presented 5 issues that could really affect the film, and my thought on what they could do to overcome those issues. Things such as the character development. I'm really thinking that they'll do a decent, maybe even a really good job on the character development. But, making their own path in a franchise that's so well worn, this subgenre is so well worn. So that's what we talked about earlier, but definitely check out the replay. It was interesting. All right. A full-on play-by-play, not play-by-play, but, just a little bit of detail. If you got it. If not, that's okay too. Okay, now here's our next scenario that we're going to go into. This will be scenario 2. And again, I'll read this because I know some folks are listening to us instead of watching. Okay. You wake up inside of a deep, dark well that has multiple tunnels in front of you. Okay, what do you do? Okay, now, and obviously, just explain this. You don't know where this well is. You just wake up, and all of a sudden, you realize that you're in a deep, dark well. There's no one around at the top of the well or anything like that, but it has multiple tunnels in front of you. So what do? You have no cell phone. You have no weapon. Why would you? So you have no weapon as well. So what would you do in this particular scenario? So that's our second one that we're working on. Hey, Katie. Saying I'm at work listening. Yes. So we've got some folks that are just listening in. Hopefully you guys will hear some interesting answers to this particular scenario. And Jamie, thank you. She's got the link in the chat for our stream tonight. We're continuing Halloween Fest 2. We're going to be watching Halloween 5, which will be really, really fun. But that'll be tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I hope that all of you guys can stop by and hang with us. We've been having so much fun with this Halloween Fest event. It's been a blast. And this is our 4th week with it. So, yeah. Eric saying, I'm more interested in the Pet Sematary prequel. I think that the trailer, like I said, and I think I said it, yeah, we talked about it. The trailer was actually pretty interesting. Yeah, so I'll be checking it out as well. Danielle saying, I run the neighborhood watch unofficial in my neighborhood, already over 30 people in my neighborhood, and we look out for each other. Oh, that's cool. We need more of that, right? We definitely need more of that. Polar saying, I live in isolated country. My family already knows to meet here if phones are down. We would wait it out, but are armed if it escalates. So there we go. I like that. Very, very cool. Okay, Melissa says, check the tunnels out, see where they go to. Okay, all right. Jonathan saying, if I know David Gordon Green, he introduced the OG mom only to die at the end, which would open up 2 more entries for Linda Blair to be in. Just guessing here. It's possible. I hope that it's not like that, though. I'm gonna be honest with you. I hope that it's not like that. I would love to see, obviously bringing back someone like Ellen Burstyn. I would love to see her position in the film stick and have weight, right? I think that would be a more interesting route. In other words, when they do stuff with the film, do stuff that we don't necessarily see coming, right? Because having her die to set up the emotional link to Linda Blair, that sounds like the most easy way to do it, right? And I'm not saying that if they do it, it can't be good, because if they execute it well, it could be great. But I hope they do something different. Katie saying she's gonna go through the tunnels and try to find a way out. All right. Cool. Melissa saying, I just watched 5 yesterday morning. Halloween 5. All right. Cool. Hopefully you'll watch it tonight too. Coriander, what's up? Saying I would twinkle my nose like I dream of Jeannie and wake up in my bed. Oh, gee. All right. So let's assume you do not have Jeannie powers. That's good though. That was good. I like it. Jamie saying crapshoot. Pick a tunnel. Pray for the best. Most likely have to feel my way out because I'm totally night blind. Okay. See, I like where that's going. Okay. Feel your way out. You're totally night blind. So obviously, as you're going through, yeah, you're going to be blind. You're feeling your way out. How far would you go? How far would you go? You just would keep going. I'd be interested to hear that too. Paul is saying, that is a mega fear of mine. I would probably pass out from anxiety. If there are no answers to my screams, guess I would be going into a tunnel. And of course, practice my 7 days creepy voice. Okay, that was good. The Ring. I like it. That was good. That was a good answer. I like it. That's interesting, being a big fear of yours. Yeah, absolutely. I think it would be a really scary situation. I really do. A-Team saying, oh, I would die right there. I have a fear of enclosed dark spaces. Ooh, yeah. So this one, I guess, is a really creepy one for you guys. I think it is too. You can't see anything, right? You don't see anything at the top. Even if you're yelling, like you guys are already saying, there's no answers to your screams. So you have to go into a tunnel. You don't know what to expect. Danielle saying, slap a stick against the wall to see if any zombie, walker, critters, monsters reveal themselves, make a noise. All right. Yeah, if you find a stick, you definitely got to pick it up and use it. I would do the same thing. I would be hitting the wall, trying to see how big the tunnel is. Also, as I walk, because I can't see, I wouldn't walk comfortably, because I would always think to myself, what if there's something that I'd fall through, right? But if I had a stick, I would use it just like if I was, a blind person. So, good one. I like that detail. That's really good. Hey, what's up, Jose? Good to see you. Hope you're doing good. Jonathan saying, totally agree with you. Yeah. Logical answer, grab something that stains and leaves marks on the walls. Yeah, that's a good point. Because you don't know. You might have to go back. I like that. Katie saying, I'm night blind too. Oh, man. So this would be a good one for you guys, man. Scary as hell. Jose saying, that's crazy to even think about night. It is. I don't know what could happen. That's the point, right? It would be really, really messed up. Like, again, just think about it. All of a sudden, you just wake up and you realize that you're not at home. You're not in your bed. You're not on your couch. You're in a deep, dark well. And there's these tunnels in front of you, multiple. I didn't say how many. But, it could be 3, it could be 5, it could be 7, and what do? You don't have a phone. You don't have a weapon on you. You're probably going to yell out for help. There's no answers, right? And it's like, that's a tough choice to make. It's a really tough choice to make. Very basic, but scary. Polar saying, I prefer option 1, survival, over this one. Losing your sight and completely alone? Nope. Right? I know, right? Jamie saying, hopefully heading into that tunnel will end me up in Wonderland. Dark holes usually lead to Wonderland. That'd be great if it would, right? Danielle saying, my first option was to climb back out of the well. Well, definitely if you could, but you can't. You can't. Or put it this way, even if you are able to start climbing up, right? It's so far of a climb that you don't even have the strength to continue going, right? So that's how deep of a well it is. You know, that even if you're able to start climbing up, which makes sense, you know, that you would maybe try to do that. But as you're climbing, you just realized you're nowhere near the top, and you just don't have the strength to do it. It takes a lot of strength to be climbing out of a well. So, yeah. Gina saying, I always wear 2 pairs of socks, so I'd find a rock, put it into a sock as a weapon, make my way through, but I don't leave the house without Ziggy so he can lead me. Ooh, okay, I like that. That's a crafty answer. I like that. Okay, so you got your own weapon. I'm digging that. I'm digging it. Val saying, scream, what the fuck is going on? How the hell did I get here? You could scream that, and then there's no answer. So what do you do, Val? What do you do? I'm really curious. It would be a bad situation, man. It really would. No doubt about it. But I do agree. You'd have to find something, you know, if you could find a stick or a rock or something like that, you got to have something that you have as a possible weapon. If it's a stick, that can help you a little bit with your movement, you know, getting a sense of the tunnel and where you're walking, stuff like that. Danielle saying, or worse, the person who put you in the well answers. Ooh, yeah. That would be really, really bad. I should have put that in the scenario. That would be horrible. All right. Okay, so we're going to get ready to move to the next scenario and see what you guys come up with. Okay, so our next one. And I'll read this at least twice for you guys that are listening, like Katie, who's at work. A winter snowstorm traps a family in an abandoned insane asylum. What do you do? Okay, so just to read it again, and then I'll explain it a little bit more, see what you guys come up with. A winter snowstorm traps a family in an abandoned insane asylum. What do you do? Okay, so obviously you're a part of this. And we'll just say that the family, we're only talking 5 people, you know, you and up to 5 other people. And it's a horrible snowstorm. I'm talking about, you know, a couple of feet of snow, no visibility. You're isolated and you are trapped in this insane asylum. Multiple floors to the insane asylum. Creepy setting, you know, all that type of stuff. What do you do? Okay, let's see what you guys come up with. Val said with the tunnel scenario, take a deep breath and then go meeny, miny, mo and take that tunnel. Not a bad way to do it. Okay, Jose saying, damn, that sounds interesting, man. It would be freaking scary. I'm telling you, that would be a scary situation. Danielle saying, again, start a gang, but this time loot the med station and the guard's armory. Use the weak ones as dogs pull a sled. Okay. Now, okay, so you're saying basically you're going to stick together with the rest of the family. So again, it's up to 5 people. And you're going to go to the med station. Now, here's the thing. You're in this insane asylum. You don't know where the med station is. So let's just think of it this way. So are you going to investigate, or are you going to kind of stay where you are? Okay, that's a good point too. That's pretty interesting though. I like that. The guard's armory. What if there isn't an armory though? Build a snow fort. But you're inside the insane asylum. Polar saying definitely break off from the group to investigate. Ooh. I kid. Yeah. I hope you don't. Val saying explore the asylum for whatever we can find that is useful. Okay, now Val, as you're exploring it, so again, it's abandoned, but that does not mean that it's not creepy or things going on in it, and it's old. Okay, so give me a sense. What do you think you would find that's useful? And we're going to assume that there isn't weapons in it, because again, it's abandoned. Bluck is saying, I live in Canada. We invented snow. Danielle's not going into the snow. Horror Gaming saying, I build a snowman. Everyone's about the snowman. Wow. But you can't get outside, though. You're trapped inside. Jose saying, wow, I would investigate with the family very cautiously and look for a weapon. Okay. All right. Horror Gaming saying, get a flashlight and find my way out. Okay. All right. That's not a bad one either. Bluck is saying, dress everyone up to recreate the Thriller music video. Oh, man. Jamie saying, I look Snow in the face and say, come at me, biatch. Snow doesn't stop us, folks. I would dig an ice tunnel out of there like a pro. But how do you do that from inside the asylum, though? If you're trapped inside. Okay, all right. Danielle saying, damn it, same problem I had in school. I never fully read the directions. It's abandoned. I'm going to read old patient files. Ooh, for the laughs. Now, that's actually, now I was following you there for a moment there. I'm going to read old patient files. I like that. That's a pretty cool detail. Yeah, that's a cool detail. I like that. That's a good one. Let's see. Val saying useful things, items to burn, help to start a fire. Finding a weapon isn't useful against ghosts. That's a good point. I like that. Yeah. So you definitely got to start a fire, right? Because the snowstorm has you trapped in the asylum. So you are inside. And for all intents and purposes, well, I suppose if there were a way to open a window or a door, you would. But again, this is an isolated asylum, so it's not like you could walk down the street to get help from someone. I mean, you're miles away from anyone, trapped inside. But even if you could open the window or the doors, how much would you try to dig in feet of snow? Because where could you go? Not only that, but then you'd be fighting the elements proper. So if you're inside, I definitely agree. You got to find something to start a fire. That's one of the first things that you have to do. I agree with that, Val. Gina saying, turn my spirit talker on to see if I can get any activity while looking for things to get with. I was snowed in the house as a kid and we built a tunnel out. Ooh, really? You were? Wow. That is a scary thing. Bluck is saying, so you're saying there's some supernatural entity making windows unbreakable so we can't escape at any floor. Well, what I'm saying is, even if you could, right? Let's just say that you could break through the windows. You're miles and miles in an isolated area, like I just said. So even if you could get out, and I'm talking about feet of snow. So there's no way you could drive anywhere. You really couldn't walk anywhere. So that's where you're at with the scenario. Yeah. Danielle saying it's an asylum, so in terms of story, I'd assume the psychology of the ghost is an important weapon. Could be. Gina saying patient files make a good fire. That's true. That is true. See, I like that. That's a great point to make, because you've got to find a way to keep yourself warm, right? Jamie saying in 1986, we got snowed into our house over Christmas. Wow. My brother and I literally dug a tunnel from the sliding glass door on the patio to the driveway. Wow. That must have been pretty scary, though. You'll have to let us know, well, and I'm assuming it was scary. Maybe it wasn't, but that would be pretty scary. Polar saying awkwardly, say aloud, so if we run out of food and I die, are you gonna eat me? Jesus Christ. What? I like that. All right, you win with that, Polar. That was good. That caught me off guard. Oh, Lord. I just saw you doing that in my head. That was funny. Yeah, that was good, wasn't it, Val? Daniel saying I'm born and raised New Orleans. Anything below 60s, and I'm shaking like a crackhead at the end of a binge. Yes. Like I said, not saying I have that family, but for comedic purposes, let's say the family's so unbearable that I would take my chances in the snow. Oh, man. Wow. All right. Jose saying very cool stream before work, fam. Oh, cool. I'm glad you're enjoying it, man. That's awesome. You guys are coming up with some pretty good answers, I will say. Jamie saying being trapped in my house for 4 days with my mom, brothers, and grandparents, super scary. Good thing we had plenty of food and a new Nintendo. There you go. 4 days. Wow. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Well, I'm glad it all worked out, Jamie. Plus, you had a new Nintendo. That was cool. Jose saying I'm from Miami, so living in Denver. Wow, what a change. Oh, I bet. That's crazy. Carrie's in the chat. What's up, Carrie? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. I would be glad that it's the Manson family and just let them die while I look across the street in my cozy chair with a blanket and heat. What? Oh, Carrie. Oh, man. You're crazy. All right. So you guys have had some pretty good ones on this. Yeah, that was pretty good. Now I think we're gonna do one more. We'll do one more for today. One more scenario we'll do, and again, I'm gonna read it twice. That way, for folks that are just listening in, they get a chance to take part of this as well. I know some of you guys are at work, like Katie is, and so forth. So, but this one, I don't know. This one might be an interesting one as well. Okay, here we go. The fourth scenario. Okay, stranded on an island after a shipwreck. You realize that you're not alone, as there's a creature that is also there. You do have some supplies with you, but they are limited. What do you do? Okay, so let me read it again, then I'll give a little bit of an explanation. Here's the scenario, our fourth one. Stranded on an island after a shipwreck, you realize that you are not alone, as there is a creature that is also there. You do have some supplies with you, but they are limited. What do you do? Now, so imagine this, you're on, let's say, a trip. You're going to some destination. There's, whether it's a bad storm or something with the ship, and you shipwreck. Okay. You're on this island. You do have some supplies that you're able to salvage from the ship. Some, but they are limited. Okay. Now you realize there's a creature that is there. Now I haven't said anything specific about the creature, but there is a creature. You realize that it is there on the island with you. Your boat is shipwrecked, so that can't do anything. So you cannot leave the island at all. Okay. Now you do not have a cell phone. So let's just throw that out. You do not have the internet as well. So what do you do in this situation? What do you do? What are the first things you do? What's the next thing you do? All that type of stuff. Okay. Catch you later, Gina. Hope you have a good day with Viggy. All right. Dominic saying, what type of supplies? That's a good question. We're going to just say that they're basic supplies. Basic supplies, like basic first aid, a little bit of food, stuff like that. Maybe some extra things like blankets, very basic supplies. But you don't have guns. You don't have bow and arrow and all that type of stuff. Just basic supplies. And they are limited. They are limited. And like I said, these type of scenarios, to me, these are always fun to hear how people deal with them, how they come up with the answers. You know what I mean? What's their mindset? I love hearing the mindsets, man. Oh, hey, Carrie, thank you so much. Carrie wow. Carrie gifted 5 memberships. That's absolutely crazy. Wow. Thank you, Carrie. That's very, very kind of you, just to take a pause there. Wow. Thank you so much. And it looks as though we got Horror Gaming that got a membership. Aaron, Brian. Wow. Horror Tori's in the chat. Hey, good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. Very, very cool. And Wesley. A lot of you guys are newer to the channel, so welcome. Hope you guys are enjoying the stream, just having this little fun scenario game. But Carrie, thank you so much for doing that. It's very, very kind of you. Like I was saying, I think it was last Thursday, we had been trying to really, set some goals and trying to work towards some goals. Obviously we didn't have our memberships for a while, not too long ago. So it's been one of those rough times to get the word out there. But thank you to so many of you guys that have been joining the memberships, and also a lot of you guys have been so generous in gifting memberships. I think that is, I'm gonna be honest, man, that's one of the nicest things to do, when you're gifting something to someone else, and it's really cool. And wow, thank you, Carrie. Seriously, this is very, very kind of you. And for you guys that were gifted the memberships, I hope you guys enjoy it. Definitely give Carrie a big thanks. It's very, very cool of her. So thank you so much, Care Bear. Very, very cool of you. Okay, so we're still working on the scenario. You guys can throw in your answers, but let's just do a super chat clip or two for Carrie. Here we go.
Got him! Oh! Whoa! Whoa!
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, bitch. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, bitch.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Carrie. I really appreciate you. Hopefully you enjoyed that. It cracks me up. Oh, with the owl costume. All right. Okay, so just to throw this back up for you guys. So we're working on this interesting scenario here, where you are trapped on an island, stranded, I should say, after you have a shipwreck. You've got limited supplies, and they're basic supplies. You realize that there's a creature that is also there. Okay, how do you handle that situation? What do you do? What are your first steps, and so forth? And thank you, Val. I appreciate you, just showing appreciation to Carrie. That was a very kind thing to do. Carrie said, Merry Spookmas. Aw, Carrie, thank you. Seriously, you guys, without you guys, yeah, I mean, we just wouldn't have the capability that we have, so thank you. Seriously. Very kind of you. Ty saying maybe use some of the shipwreck to build shelter, firewood, and makeshift weapons. I like that. See, that's what I'm talking about. I like that. Okay, I'm digging it. Helping to build a shelter. Okay, you're gonna have some firewood, make some weapons. That's exactly where I would start thinking, right? Because you got to use whatever you can use from the ship, even if it's part of the ship. Horror Gaming saying, do a ghost hunting in the asylum. We're still in the asylum. Danielle saying, track the creature to learn how it lives, then kill it and take its place. Then look for barbecue sauce to eat the creature. No, you're not going to do that. Come on. But I do. But the idea of tracking the creature to learn how it lives, that's pretty interesting. That's pretty ballsy, too. Yeah. In this scenario, I'm Chris Pratt. Stick out my hand to tame the unknown creature. Then we go fight Ingen for trapping us on this island. A little bit of Jurassic World. Yeah. Val saying, first thing is to build a fire, then a shelter so I can curl up in a ball and cry because I know my ass is getting eaten by the creature. Aw, Val. Jeez. But I do like the way you guys are thinking a little bit about it too, though. Building a fire, making sure that you get a shelter situated, maybe trying to track the creature if you can. There's no specific definition of what the creature is and its capabilities. So if you were able to kind of get some intel on the creature, that would definitely be something you'd want to do. Dominic saying, I'm going to create a bow and arrow and a huge spear to defend myself from the creature. When I kill the creature, I eat the bastard. There you go. All right. I like it. I like it. Jamie saying, I look for the hidden rum stash. Build a huge fire in the hopes that a ship sees the smoke, which also keeps the creature away because they hate fire. All right. Jamie's thinking on some multiple levels here. I like that, trying to take a bunch of whatever you can use to build a huge signal fire. I do like that idea. Will it work? Maybe, maybe not. But I do like that idea. And keeping the creature away because we're assuming that they hate fire. That's definitely a good way to look at it. I'd feel the same way. I would feel like we have to have fire. I'd want to build a ring of fire around wherever I'm camping out. I'd want to build a ring of fire around it. Yeah. Mark's in the chat. What's going on, Mark? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. And Carrie saying, "You're welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Night Watch fam." Thank you so much, Carrie. Seriously, that was really cool. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. Very, very cool of you. And it's so funny because, especially in the last 2 weeks, again, you guys have just been so generous with gifting and all those types of things. It's really made a huge difference. She is very awesome, Danielle. She is. She really is. Oh, more than welcome. You're too sweet. Too sweet. Jamie, you are right. Stage fright is some crazy 80s horror. It is. I don't know if you, Jamie, and I don't know if you remember, but we did a watch party on Stage Fright, and it was hilarious. Watching it together. If you ever get a chance, you'll have to check that out because it was so much fun. I had never seen it until we had done the watch party, and of course that clip, that super chat clip, I had to do that because it was. I won't spoil it, but check out the watch party if you get a chance. It was really fun. Horror Gaming saying, "I will find food first, build a little house." Yeah, so we got to think about food, right? That's one thing no one's mentioned yet. We got to think about food, right? And how are we gonna find it? How are we gonna get it? All those types of things. So good point. Good point. Melissa says, "Shoot it," talking about the creature, but there's no guns. There's no guns. Dominic saying, "My question is, how do we escape the island?" Well, that is the ultimate question. That is the ultimate question. So, again, you guys are the ones coming up with the answers. So, think it through. I mean, this is an island you're stranded on, but I never said that there's no one else on this island. So with that being said, if you secure fire and a makeshift shelter and create some type of a weapon, do you spend time kind of tracking the creature, or do you explore the island to see if you can find other folks, other people? Who knows, you might even find something even better than that. Yeah. Danielle saying, "Ballsy not to track the creature because the creature is most definitely tracking you." Good point. That's a good point. Carrie saying, "So the shadow is bigger than the actual creature, turns out. He is a cuddly friend and very helpful who can magically regenerate supplies." Oh, man, that was good. That's a good one, Carrie. I like that. I like it. I like it. I like it. I'm a cuddly friend. This scenario was basically the ending of Deep Rising. Oh, I haven't seen that one. Carrie saying, "Are you leaving horror gaming?" Oh, if you are, we will catch you later. We will catch you later. Oh, well, I'm glad that you're feeling better, Danielle. Wow. Today my teeth finally stopped hurting so I can at least eat salad. I'm glad that you can now. That's good. Jamie saying, "I think I was at the Stage Fright watch along for a bit. I saw that movie in the theater. Very memorable experience." I bet. Oh my gosh. I bet. But actually it was a pretty enjoyable film though, I will say. Danielle saying, "Use the creature's dead body as a raft because it's waterproof." All right. Blecka saying, "Are we assuming in the shipwreck all the lifeboats got destroyed?" Oh, there's definitely no lifeboats. No, there's definitely no lifeboats. And again, we didn't say what was the size of the ship. And by the fact that you're the one stranded on the island, it's not a big boat. So we're going to assume that the lifeboats they don't exist. They do not exist. Good question, though. Val, thank you for reminding people. We're going to be doing our continuation tonight of Halloween Fest 2, and it's going to be a blast. And if you guys could, it would be great, if you haven't already, to make sure that you like the stream. We were talking about that last night on Steven's channel. It would be really cool, for all of you guys that populate the channel on a multiple times a week basis, that when you come to the page, and I know Steven does this, I know quite a few other content creators do this, but we put our streams up way in advance. So by giving a like on those streams, it definitely helps the stream start off really well as far as YouTube putting it out there to newer viewers, other viewers, and also to make sure that the notifications go out to existing viewers, because and this has happened on so many channels where notifications aren't always going through, which is really weird. And I just don't know why that's an issue through YouTube. But anyways, if you could put a like on tonight's stream, and we do have our other streams listed as well, that would be great. It really would. It would help them out quite a bit. And as far as I remember, I think we had like 20 or so for tonight. It'd be great if we could get it to 30. That would be great. So if you haven't already, and I know there's quite a few people that have not, click that link and give our stream tonight a like. That would be good. But thank you, Val, for putting it there. And if you could put it back up there in a little bit, that would be awesome. Yes. We got Amy is in the chat. What's going on? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. All right. Horror Gaming saying, making friends with the creature. Oh, all right. Too funny. Oh, man. Jamie saying, Deep Rising is awesome. You'd love it, Night. Do a watch along for that. Really? Okay. Carrie saying, I'm a think outside the box loophole kind of gal when it comes to these scenarios. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. But it makes for some interesting conversation. Seriously, Carrie. Except the part where it's a cuddly friend. That's the one that kind of threw me off a little bit there. Let's see. There's a twist. The creature is Pazuzu. Yeah. All right. Jose saying, always like all of your stuff for sure. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate that. Seriously, if we had everyone do that, man, it would just be absolutely amazing. So, thank you. Creatures can be cuddly, foxes, bunnies, owls, etc. Okay, that's true though. You got me with that. You got me. Humans too. Oh my gosh, that's too funny. You guys. All right, so we got a few more seconds. We'll work on this scenario. So if you guys want to throw any other ideas out there, let us know. But again, I do like some of the ideas there, but I'm surprised no one has said that they were going to like look around the island for other people, because there could be other people, there could be a facility on the island, right? Could be. Caleb's in the chat saying good morning. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Welcome. We are working on a scenario where I have you guys give me your answer on how you would deal with it. So just to read it one more time, stranded on an island after a shipwreck, you realize you are not alone, as there is a creature that is also there. You do have some supplies with you, but they are limited. What do you do? Horror Gaming saying, I will look for other people on the island if they need help. All right. And they might need help. They might. All right. Brian coming in saying, I would start looking for shelter. Okay. That's interesting. That's interesting. I get it. I get it. Carrie saying, I'm going to stay on my side of the island. No need for Lord of the Flies up in here. I like that. Lord of the Flies, time to mate. Or after I killed the creature, the natives now want to kill me for killing their pet creature. Ooh, see, that's interesting. Like if you were able to kill the creature and then you realize that there were natives on the island too, and then all of a sudden, you're the villain. I like that. That's a good one. That's a really, really good one. I dig it. All right, guys. Well, I think we're about done with this scenario. Those are pretty good answers there. I gotta admit, you guys did pretty good answers. That it's an interesting one. It really is, because there's definitely a lot of possibilities. All right. So, real quick as we wind down, first of all, thank you guys for hanging out. Really appreciate that, and hope that this has been fun for you guys. I know some folks have been asking us to do this again, just like with some of our regular, game type of streams or trivia type of streams. So I'm glad we got a chance to do it. But again, for tonight, we're going to be back tonight at 9 with our awesome Halloween Fest 2 event. It's been really, really cool. Every night's been awesome. Last night was so much fun. We were watching Halloween 4. Our good friend Jason was the first time he had ever seen it. He had never seen it before. If you guys could have seen the look on his face when certain things happened or at the end, because he didn't expect the cliffhanger, that was priceless. It was so cool. So, for some folks to have not seen these films, and there's a lot of folks like that who haven't seen the films, it's great to see their reactions. And of course, we had conversation with the panel and obviously with the folks in the live chat. So definitely. Danielle saying, it's the end? No Scream updates? Right now, we're just in a waiting position. And I wish we knew more. I really, really do. But I do think that we're going to have some really cool updates coming. Now that, we have a little bit more movement, with the strikes and stuff like that, I think we will. And it would make sense to me. We have seen Paramount dropping some little trailers and stuff, kind of talking about their movies, and they've featured Ghostface. I don't know if you guys have seen those. But the question is, why would they feature Ghostface like that? Now, there's two ways you can look at it. One, you can look at it like, because Scream is so popular, that they would kind of use Ghostface as a vehicle to do that. Or you could look at it like they're starting up the hype train and getting people to think about Ghostface, think about Scream 6, and getting everyone hyped up for Scream 7. You know what I mean? For me, one thing that, and we've talked about this a lot, having the film take place, at the end of the year or the early part of the year, being more of a winter theme, Christmas theme Scream, I think that not only is that really huge possibility of happening without saying it's definitive, but I think that would be really, really cool. I think that would be really, really cool. So fingers are crossed on that, though. They really are. Hey, May, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Val said, I was so shocked to find out Jason never saw the Thorn trilogy. Right? I know. It just goes to show you. Yeah. Jamie saying, this show put me in a much better mood. Nightwatch Zone therapy session. Oh, well, I'm glad that it did that, Jamie. Thank you. I'm so glad it did. And I hope the rest of your day goes well. No doubt. Join us tonight. We're going to be having a blast tonight. They've been so much fun. not only talking about the movie as we usually would do with watch-alongs, but also, with our panel and also with you guys in the live chat. It's been so much fun, seriously. So if you are around tonight, Jamie, stop by. Everyone. Danielle saying, I did not see that. I want to see that. Yeah. It is up there. It is out there. It's basically, I mean, and let me just say, it's nothing like super special. Like, you have this situation where Ghostface, it's not a parody almost, but it almost felt like that when I first started watching it. But, well, I'll let you check it out. You let me know what you think, Danielle. You let me know what you think. Is it just because they're starting the hype train for the new Scream, or is it because they're just using Ghostface as one of their pillars, of Paramount? Because they were talking about other films too, right? So it could go either way. But me personally, I do think that choosing Ghostface to be, that vehicle, for this promo, I think it is on purpose to really get, the talk surrounding Scream, the fan base, to kind of get the buzz going, because that's what they've been doing with Scream 5 and also with Scream 6. Whether it's any social media like TikTok and all of that type of stuff, on Twitter, obviously, all of us on YouTube as a platform, they're watching, they're listening. So I really do think there's a reason behind it. You guys are too funny. I'm glad the stream was positive for you guys and soothing. Val saying, I can't wait for Halloween Fest tonight. I can't either. I really can. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Seriously, it's always a blast with you guys. So anyways, definitely check us out tonight. We'll be back in less than 8 hours. It comes really quick. It really, really does. So we'll be back on later on tonight, having fun with you guys. And we're going to have a fun panel. We're going to be having fun with the movie. It's a really good movie to have a watch along to. And so anyways, yeah, we'll catch you guys tonight. Don't forget to hit the like button. It helps to support the streams. So definitely do that. And I'll catch you guys later on. Hope the rest of your afternoon goes great. So if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you're the Night Watch. Peace out. Catch you guys later.